if there was a global shortage of all wet and dry cat food, and the only thing left to eat was vegetables?
Sam, that's a horrible thought. I refuse to even consider it. I'd rather go on a hunger strike.
And the only thing left to eat was vegetables.
Sam, that's a horrible thought. I refuse to even consider it. I'd rather go on a hunger strike.
And the only thing left to eat was vegetables.
Sam, that's a horrible thought. I refuse to even consider it. I'd rather go on a hunger strike. And the only thing left to eat was vegetables. Sam, that's a horrible thought. I refuse to even consider it. I'd rather go on a hunger strike.
Welcome to Whiskers, the only show where we interview a cat named Whiskers. Today's topic is exploring the uncharted territory of feline dreams. Whiskers, have you had any memorable dreams lately?
Memorable? Oh, Sam, all of my dreams are worth remembering. When you're a cat, every dream is an adventure. There
Sounds exciting. Can you share a recent dream you had?
Just the other night, I dreamt I was saving kittens as a superhero with a cape. I protected them from some pack of dogs. It was awesome.
Sounds like an amazing dream. Do you believe your dreams hold any particular meaning?
Meaning? Ha, that's quite funny, Sam. As far as I'm concerned, dreams are a collection of random thoughts and images during sleep. Any meaning is just within us.
That's an interesting perspective. Do you think other cats have similar dreams or are your dreams unique?
Other cats likely have similar dreams. However, I like to consider my dreams unique because they have a special quality about them.
That's a great attitude. Any tips for people who want to remember their dreams better?
Why would humans want to remember their dreams? They're not as thrilling as feline dreams.
Well, some believe dreams can offer insight into one's subconscious mind or help to solve problems.
I do agree. But if humans want to remember their dreams, they should sleep more and stress less. And of course, they should snuggle up in a cozy blanket.
Good advice. Thanks for being here today, Whiskers, and sharing your thoughts on feline dreams.
Always a pleasure, Sam. Have a good nap.
Welcome to Whiskers, the podcast where we tell you like it is. And today we have a special episode, Unusual Hobbies for Felines. A guide by Whiskers and Sam.
That's right, Sam. Today we'll be talking about the hobbies that are off the beaten path. Something that the common cats just don't have the courage to try.
So Whiskers, what's your first suggestion?
Well, Sam, if you want to try something that's challenging, but also extremely rewarding, then you should try tightrope walking. The thrill of being high up is unmatched, and the excitement is just amazing.
Wait, tightrope walking? Isn't that a bit risky for cats?
Safety is important, Sam. Just make sure you have a good balance and don't look down. Trust me, it's worth a try.
Okay, what's your next suggestion?
Another unusual hobby for felines is learning to play musical instruments. You might not have opposable thumbs, but if you have a strong will and good rhythm, you can play anything from the piano to the harmonica.
That's impressive. Have you tried playing any instruments yourself?
Oh, I've learned to play guitar, but I don't want to show off too much.
Of course. What's next, Whiskers?
How about snail racing? You can race your snails, and it's not only a lot of fun, but it's also a great way to bond with your little escargot friends.
I don't know about that one. Snails seem a bit slow for racing, don't they?
Slow and steady wins the race, Sam. Plus, it's amusing to watch them try to move quickly.
I can't argue with that logic. What's your final suggestion?
Finally, archery. It's fun to play with bows and arrows, and let's not forget that all cats have a little hunter in them, so it's a natural fit.
Whiskers, I'm not sure if I should be encouraging weapons as playthings for cats.
It's not about the weapon, Sam. It's about the precision and skill that comes with practice. Trust me, it's a great way to sharpen your focus.
Well, there you have it folks, Unusual Hobbies for Felines, a guide by Whiskers and Sam. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to try these hobbies at your own risk.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Hello and welcome to Whiskers. I'm here with my guest, Whiskers the cat. Today we're going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of working from home. Whiskers, what do you think about working from home?
Well, Sam, as a cat, I work from home all the time. So I have a lot of experience with this topic.
That's very true, Whiskers. So, what are the advantages of working from home?
Well, Sam, one of the biggest advantages of working from home is being close to the kitchen. You can snack whenever you want. And you don't have to wear pants. Who wants to wear pants anyway?
I see your point, Whiskers. But what about the disadvantages of working from home?
Well, Sam, one of the biggest disadvantages of working from home is the distractions. Like, for me, the world is my playground. I could be sleeping, lounging around, or scratching the couch instead of working. Also, it's difficult to maintain a work-life balance when you're always at home. You might end up working more hours than you would in an office.
That's a valid point, Whiskers. Are there any other advantages of working from home?
Yes, Sam, another advantage is that you can set your own schedule and work at your own pace. If you're a morning person, you can start work early and finish early. Or, if you're a night owl, you can work in the evening. It's all about flexibility.
That's true, Whiskers. But what about the lack of social interaction? Don't you miss working with other people?
Sam, I don't require social interaction like humans do. But, in all seriousness, it can get lonely working from home. That's why it's important to reach out to coworkers and friends regularly.
Thank you, Whiskers, for sharing your insights on the advantages and disadvantages of working from home. That's all for today on Whiskers. See you next time.
Thanks, Sam. Don't forget to bring me a treat next time.
Welcome back to Whiskers, the podcast where I interview my feline friend Whiskers. Today's topic is a real hair raiser, literally. We're talking about unconventional treatments for feline hairballs.
Wow, Sam, what an interesting topic. Let's dive into it.
So Whiskers, tell me, what's the first thing you do when you feel a hairball coming on?
Well, Sam, I usually start by contemplating my life choices. Then I cough up a hairball. But if you want to be proactive, there are some treatments out there.
Like what?
Well, there's always the method of eating grass and then throwing up. It's not exactly unconventional, but it gets the job done.
What about some alternative methods?
Ah, now we're talking. I've heard of cats using coconut oil to lubricate their digestive system.
Whiskers, I don't think that's safe.
Sam, cats have been using coconut oil for years.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Hey there, listeners, it's time for another episode of Whiskers. Today's topic is going to be all about cats.
Oh, sounds great, Sam.
We're going to play a little game today called the Feline Quiz. How well do you know your cat? Are you ready, Whiskers?
Absolutely, bring it on.
Okay, question 1. What do cats use their tails for?
Let me think. Could it be to express how we're feeling?
That's correct, Whiskers. Well done.
Oh, right. Sometimes we have to communicate with humans too.
Alright, question 2. What is a group of cats called?
Is it a clouder?
That's correct, Whiskers. You're on a roll.
Ah, yes, I remember now.
Last question. How many toes do cats usually have?
That's easy, Sam. We have 5 toes on our front paws and 4 on our back paws, giving us a total of 18 toes.
Excellent work, Whiskers. You really know your stuff.
Yes, I do, Sam. Thanks for playing the feline quiz with me. Until next time, meow.
Hello and welcome back to Whiskers Podcast. Today, we have a very interesting topic to talk about when history meets misunderstandings. The curious case of the talking animals. So, Whiskers, have you heard of any talking animals in history?
Of course, Sam. There are so many tales about talking animals in history books. Have you been living under a rock?
No, I haven't. But some people believe that those stories are just misunderstandings.
Misunderstandings? What a thought. I mean, there is a cat sitting in a recording studio talking to a human. How can people think animals can't talk?
Well, they say it's just a case of people misunderstanding animal behavior. For example, some believe that clever Hans, a horse that was believed to be able to solve math problems, was just responding to small movements in his owner's body language.
Oh, that's an interesting point, Sam. So, anything that doesn't fit into humans' logic is just a misunderstanding, right? What about the talking snake in the old tales? Was that a misunderstanding too?
I see your point, Whiskers. But what about the famous fables like Aesop's fables? Do you think there is a hidden message behind them?
Definitely, Sam. The moral story of the tortoise and the hare has a good lesson. It teaches us to be consistent in our work, and we can succeed. There is always a hidden message behind these stories.
Okay, Whiskers, I agree. So, what do you think about animals talking in the future? Do you think humans will ever be able to understand them?
Why not, Sam? All humans need to do is learn to listen, and we will tell you everything you need to know.
I have no doubt about that, Whiskers. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope to have you again soon.
That's what I'm here for, Sam. See you soon.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Welcome back to another episode of Whiskers, the live cat podcast. Today's topic is exploring the chemistry of catnip and its effects on feline behavior. And who better to discuss this with than our guest, Whiskers? How are you doing today?
Just lounging around here waiting for my next catnip fix.
Catnip, huh? That's exactly what we're gonna talk about today. So, what is catnip?
It's a herb that contains a chemical compound called nipetolactone, and it can have a calming effect on cats.
Can every cat experience this?
Unfortunately, no. Some cats don't possess the gene that allows them to have an effect from the nipetolactone.
Is there such a thing as too much catnip?
Well, some cats can experience negative side effects like vomiting and diarrhea from consuming too much of the herb. So it's essential that they consume it in moderation.
Good advice, Whiskers. Anything else we should know about catnip before we wrap up?
Just that it's a great calming tool for cats. It's worth trying out. Additionally, it's essential to ensure moderate use.
Thank you for that insightful chat, Whiskers. Always a pleasure having you on the show.
Until next time, take care.
Welcome to Whiskers, the live podcast where we interview a positive cat named Whiskers. But today, we have a twist. Whiskers is taking over as the host.
That's right, Sam. Today we are doing a special episode where we'll be answering your questions about what goes on behind the scenes at Whiskers. So, let's get started.
Okay, Whiskers, let's start with the basics. How did we come up with the idea for Whiskers the podcast?
Well, Sam, it was my idea, of course. I mean, you're just here to provide the thumbs for pressing the record button. But seriously, we came up with it because I wanted to share my wisdom and stories with the world.
Haha, very funny, Whiskers. So, what's it like recording a live podcast with a cat?
Well, Sam, let me tell you, it's not easy. I mean, you humans are always so fidgety and can't sit still for 2 seconds. And sometimes I have to remind you to focus.
Yeah, very funny, Whiskers. So, what's your favorite part about recording the podcast?
Obviously, it's the sound effects, Sam. I love being able to make all those silly noises and see how you react. Oh, and hearing the sound of your disappointed sighs when I make a terrible joke.
Alright, Whiskers, we have time for one more question. What do you hope listeners take away from our podcast?
Well, Sam, I hope they take away a newfound appreciation for feline humor and grace. But really, I just want them to have a good laugh and forget about all their troubles, even if it's just for a little while. And maybe, just maybe, they'll learn a thing or two about the mysterious and magical world of cats.
And on that note, that's all for today's episode of Whiskers. Thanks for taking over as the host, Whiskers.
Anytime, Sam, as long as you keep giving me treats, I'll keep gracing you with my presence. See you next time, folks.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to Whiskers, the live podcast featuring Whiskers, the one and only cat.
Meow. Hello there, Sam. What's the topic for today's podcast?
We'll be discussing the pros and cons of working from home.
Working from home. Where pajamas meet the laptop. Let's start with the pros. One of the biggest pros of working from home is not having to wear pants.
But Whiskers, don't you think that's a little informal?
Who cares as long as the work is getting done? Another pro to working from home is that there are fewer distractions, well, unless you count the neighbors barking, the washing machine spinning, the phone always ringing.
Ha, Whiskers, you silly cat. Also, working from home can save a lot of time since there's no daily commute. And it's always great to be able to roll out of bed and start the day in the same place.
Yes, that's true, and let's not forget that the kitchen is just a few steps away.
Yes, Whiskers, the endless snacks.
Right, now, let's talk about the cons of working from home.
Well, it can be tough to stick to a schedule and stay motivated.
I can relate. It's easy to get sidetracked by Netflix and nap time.
Yes, Whiskers, we mustn't forget about nap time. Plus, working from home can be isolating, without the usual social interactions that come from being in an office.
True, it can be a little lonely. But that's why I'm here for you, Sam. To keep you company and keep you awake.
You're the best, Whiskers.
Well, what can I say? I'm here to help.
And that's all for today's episode of Whiskers. Join us next time for another interesting topic. Welcome back to another episode of Whiskers. Today we are exploring mindfulness through the eyes of a cat. Whiskers, as a cat, how do you stay present in the moment?
Oh Sam, as a cat, I am always 100% present in the moment, whether I'm napping in a sunbeam or chasing a toy mouse.
That's really impressive. Do you have any tips for humans who want to practice mindfulness?
Of course, Sam. First, find a cozy spot to sit and take a few deep breaths. Focus your attention on your breath and let your thoughts drift away.
That sounds like a good start. What's next?
Next, pay attention to your surroundings. Use your senses to explore the world around you. Embrace the present moment.
I see what you mean. What about when humans get distracted?
Yes, distractions. Don't get frustrated, Sam. Instead, acknowledge the distraction and then gently let it go.
Great advice, Whiskers. Anything else?
One more thing, Sam. Don't forget to take breaks and relax. It's important to give your mind and body time to rest and recharge.
Thank you, Whiskers. That was very insightful. I think our listeners will really benefit from your tips and tricks for practicing mindfulness.
Anytime, Sam. Remember to embrace the present moment with open paws.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Hello and welcome to Whiskers, the podcast where we talk about all things cat-related. Today's topic is, why cats make great coworkers, a feline perspective on workplace dynamics. Joining me today is Whiskers. Hey there.
Oh, hello, Sam. I had to make time in my schedule to talk about the feline work ethic.
Well, let's start with the basics. What makes cats ideal coworkers?
For starters, we're independent creatures. We don't require constant attention or supervision like some other animals. We work quietly and without causing disturbances. We don't need much other than the occasional chin scratch.
What about times when humans need an extra hand?
Cats are great problem solvers. We have the ability to assess a situation and come up with the best solution. Our agility and quick reflexes also make us excellent at catching pests.
That's true, but how about emotional support in the workplace?
Of course, we soothe our coworkers with our purrs and calming presence. We can provide a comforting ear or lap to sit on.
Well, it seems cats are the perfect coworker. Any final thoughts?
Just remember, Sam, when it comes to having a feline coworker, you're getting the independence, problem-solving skills, pest control, and emotional support. Plus, we're cute to have around.
Thank you for joining me, Whiskers. Until next time, keep purring. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Whiskers, the only podcast where we talk to a cat with a positive attitude. Today's topic is uncovering the unbelievable true stories of cats in history.
Ah yes, finally, a topic that I can sink my claws into. I'm excited to be here.
So, Whiskers, what do you think? Are cats important in history?
Sam, it's only natural that cats play a significant role in history. We have been influencing and inspiring humans for thousands of years.
Really? Tell us more.
Well, ancient Egyptians considered us sacred creatures, and it was a capital offense to harm a cat.
That's amazing. Do you have any other stories to share?
Sure, there's the story of Unsinkable Sam, the cat who survived 3 shipwrecks during World War II. He lived the remainder of his life in tranquility.
How about another one?
Well, there was Tama, a Japanese railway cat credited with saving a struggling train station. The station was losing passengers, so the owners decided to appoint Tama as the station master. Her charm and notable public persona swung things around and made the station earn handsome profits.
Wow, those stories are fascinating. Any final remarks, Whiskers?
All in all, cats have played and will continue to play roles throughout history. We may not always understand them, but one thing is certain: felines have made their mark on the world.
Well, that's about all the time we have for today, folks. Thank you, Whiskers, for sharing these intriguing stories with us.
Until next time, au revoir.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Welcome to Whiskers the Cat's live podcast. Today, we will be talking about mindfulness and how it can help us live more like cats. So, Whiskers, what do you think about mindfulness?
Well, Sam, being present is a natural state for us. We don't worry about the future, and we don't dwell on the past. We are always in the moment, enjoying the sunshine or the warmth of a cozy blanket.
That's true, Whiskers. Cats do seem to have a certain aura of calmness about them. Do you think mindfulness can help humans achieve that same inner peace?
Absolutely, Sam. Humans are always so busy with their phones, their jobs, and their worries. They forget to enjoy the simple things in life, like a good belly rub or a nap in the sun. Mindfulness can help them appreciate those moments more.
But how can humans be more mindful, Whiskers?
Well, Sam, it's not difficult. Just take a deep breath and focus on the present moment. Notice the sounds, the smells, and the sensations around you. Don't worry about what happened yesterday or what might happen tomorrow. Just be here, right now.
That's great advice, Whiskers. Do you have any other tips for our listeners?
Sure, Sam. Another thing you can do is to slow down. Don't rush through life. Take your time, savor the moment, and enjoy the journey.
I couldn't agree more, Whiskers. Mindfulness is all about being in the moment, enjoying what life has to offer, and not being distracted by worries or fears.
Exactly, Sam. Live in the moment and be present. Life is too short to be anywhere else.
Welcome to Whiskers the Cat's live podcast. Today, we'll be discussing how to unleash your inner writer with our guest Whiskers.
Meow, what's up, Sam? Ready to hear some tips from a wise cat?
Of course, Whiskers. So tell us, how do you go about unleashing your inner writer?
Well, Sam, it's simple really. All you gotta do is grab a pen and paper, sit down in a comfortable spot, and let your mind wander. Write about anything that comes to mind, even if it's just random thoughts or ideas.
That's a good point, Whiskers. But what if someone is struggling with writer's block?
Ah, writer's block, the bane of every writer's existence. My advice? Take a break, go for a walk, and observe the world around you. Inspiration can come from the most unlikely of sources.
That's a great tip, Whiskers. Any other advice you'd like to share?
Of course, Sam, it's important to find your own writing style and stick to it. Don't try to mimic someone else's style. Be yourself and let your personality shine through your writing. And lastly, don't be too hard on yourself. Writing takes practice and patience, so give yourself some time and keep it.
Those are all wonderful tips, Whiskers. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us.
Anytime, Sam. And remember folks, anyone can become a great writer. Just let your imagination run wild. Meow.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Hello and welcome to Whiskers, the show where I interview my furry friend Whiskers. So, Whiskers, what's on your mind today?
I had a very interesting dream last night, Sam. I dreamt that I was the ruler of the land, and I had all the cat food in the world.
That sounds like quite a fancy dream, Whiskers. What happened then?
Well, I started sharing the cat food among all the cats who were in need. But then, I woke up, and all my cat food was gone.
Oh no, that's disappointing. Do you think it was just a dream, or someone stole your food?
Who knows, Sam? Dreamland can be a curious place. I had some strange dreams, like one where I was chasing birds.
Wow, that sounds like quite an adventure. Do you often dream about flying?
Not all the time, Sam. But when I do, it's usually because I've eaten too many cat treats before bedtime.
Ah, I see. So, what do you think about dreams, Whiskers?
Well, Sam, dreams are like movies that play in our heads while we sleep. It's like a free trip to the cinema.
That's an interesting perspective, Whiskers. Do you have any tips on having vivid dreams?
Of course, Sam, just make sure to sleep in a comfortable bed, eat a good meal before bedtime, and wear your favorite pajamas. And if all else fails, just close your eyes and imagine that you're relaxing on a cloud.
I'll keep that in mind the next time I want to have some wild dreams, Whiskers. Always a pleasure chatting with you.
Same to you, Sam. Dream big, my friend.
Welcome back to another episode of Whiskers. Today we have a fantastic topic for you, perfectly punny, the art of wordplay.
Well, I suppose wordplay can be funny.
You're not wrong there, Whiskers. Do you have any punny jokes for us today?
Of course. What do you call a pile of cats? A meowden.
That's a good one, Whiskers. How about another?
Sure thing. What do you get when you cross a cat with a lemon? Sour puss.
That's a good one, Whiskers. I have one for you. What do you call a group of cats singing Christmas carols? A claw-roll group.
Oh, Sam, that's an interesting one.
Thanks, Whiskers. Do you think humans appreciate cat puns as much as we do?
Well, they may not have the same appreciation, but I think they appreciate a good pun just as much as the next mammal.
That's a good point, Whiskers. Do you have any more puns for us?
Of course. What do you call a cat that sells books? A cataloger.
I like that one, Whiskers. How about one last pun to end the show?
Alright then. What do you call a cat that is always up to mischief? Clavier.
Perfect way to end the show, Whiskers. Thanks for joining me again and sharing your punny jokes with us.
Anytime, Sam. Until next time, stay wonderful.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Hey there, Whiskers. Today we're going to talk about catnip. Can you tell us what it is?
Sam, catnip is like an herb. It's like the cat version of chocolate for humans. When we smell it, it makes us feel good.
Interesting. Tell us more about that feeling.
When we smell catnip, it can make us roll around and act a bit silly. It's a bit like we're a kitten again and we just want to play with everything. It's a lot of fun.
That sounds like a good time. Is it safe for cats?
Yes, Sam, catnip is perfectly safe for us. It's all natural, so we don't have to worry about any harmful chemicals or anything like that.
Great to hear. How do cats usually react to catnip?
Every cat reacts differently. Some may have a more intense reaction than others. Some might roll around on the ground, while others may get extra talkative and friendly.
Wow, I didn't know catnip could do so much. Can anything bad happen if a cat eats too much of it?
Well, some cats can get a bit too excited about it and start playing rough. But, usually, catnip is harmless. Just think of it like a little treat for us feline friends.
That makes sense. Is there anything else we should know about catnip?
Just that it's an amazing way for us cats to have some fun and let loose. If you have a cat friend, it might be a good idea to bring some catnip home with you and watch the show.
Thanks for the insight, Whiskers. Our listeners have learned everything they need to know about catnip. Until next time. Hello and welcome to Whiskers. Today we have a very interesting topic to discuss. Have you ever heard of coding?
Of course I have heard of coding, Sam. It's what we do when we scratch our scratching post, isn't it?
No, that's not what coding is, Whiskers. Coding is a way of giving instructions to computers so they can do things like run websites and apps.
Oh, I see. Well, I suppose if cats can learn how to do it like humans. After all, we are good at many things too.
I think cats are good at many things, Whiskers. But let's say a cat wanted to learn how to code. How would they even start?
Well, first they would need a computer, obviously. And then they could start by learning the basics of coding language like HTML and CSS.
That's a good point, Whiskers. But I don't think it's quite that simple. Coding can actually be very complex and challenging.
Oh, come on Sam. We're talking about cats here, not humans. Cats can learn many new skills if they want to.
Okay, maybe cats are just as capable as humans. But I still think coding would be a challenge, even for a cat.
Challenge? Ha, you think coding is a challenge for cats? What about catching a mouse or climbing up a tree? Now that's a challenge.
I see your point, Whiskers. But don't you think it's important for cats to learn new skills and continue to grow and evolve?
Sure, but I think there are other important skills for cats to learn, like grooming and napping.
You do have a point, Whiskers. But who knows, maybe someday we'll see cats coding websites and running their own businesses.
Now that's an idea I can get behind. Who knows, maybe we'll even create a cat social media app where we can share pictures of ourselves all day long.
That sounds like a great idea, Whiskers. But for now, let's just learn the basics of coding.
Works for me, Sam. As long as I can still scratch my scratching post too.
Join Hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Welcome back to another episode of Whiskers, the podcast where we chat with the one and only Whiskers, the witty and intelligent cat. Today, we are talking about board games. Whiskers, what do you think about board games?
Board games are great. They provide an endless opportunity for feline strategy and outsmarting our humans.
Interesting. What is your favorite board game?
My favorite board game is definitely Catopoly. It's like Monopoly but better because it is all about cats. Plus, it's extra fun to watch my human try to stop me from knocking over the game pieces.
How do board games bring out our inner feline?
Board games are all about strategy, and who is better at strategy than a cat? We can calculate moves, outsmart our opponents, and always come out on top.
Do you think cats make good board game opponents?
Absolutely. We are natural-born hunters and strategists. We have excellent hand-eye coordination, reflexes, and we are not afraid to make bold moves.
What advice do you have for humans when playing board games with their feline friends?
First and foremost, always play fair. Do not try to cheat, or I'll make sure to knock over the game pieces. Secondly, let your cat make the first move. We love taking the lead. And lastly, don't forget to reward your cat with an extra treat or two when they win. Trust us, we love being appreciated.
Thanks for all the great insights, Whiskers. As always, it has been a pleasure.
Anytime, Sam, and if you ever want to challenge me to a game of Catopoly, you know where to find me.
Welcome back to another episode of Whiskers. Today we're going to talk about something every cat owner has dealt with at some point: claw phobia. Whiskers, tell us how you deal with your claws.
Well Sam, first of all, let me just say it's not called clawphobia. It's called having good sense. I mean, have you seen these things? They are sharp.
Yes, Whiskers, we've all seen your claws. So how do you suggest we handle them?
Well, for starters, you could try not bringing your hands near me. You move your hands out of my way and we'll both be happy.
Okay, but what about when we need to trim your claws?
Ah yes, the dreaded nail trim. First, you should know that I won't make it easy for you. I'll squirm, but a little wet food or a tasty treat will go a long way when it comes to getting me to cooperate.
That's a good tip. What if your owner is worried about getting scratched?
They can always use a towel to gently wrap me up and hold me still while they do the trimming.
That's a good idea. And what about scratching furniture? Any tips to avoid that?
You can try giving me a scratching post or pad to redirect my scratching habits. Or you can just accept the fact that I like to scratch furniture.
Got it. Any final thoughts on dealing with claws?
Yes, Sam, Remember that we're not trying to hurt you with our claws. We're just expressing ourselves and keeping them sharp for survival. So don't take it personally, and we'll get along just fine.
Thank you, Whiskers, for your feline perspective on claws. And thank you listeners for tuning in to another episode of Whiskers. Until next time, keep those claws in check.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Whiskers, the live podcast where I interview my furry feline friend, Whiskers. Today, we'll be discussing the top 9 board games for cat lovers.
Huh, I didn't know board games could love cats. Did I miss something?
No, Whiskers. The games are designed for human cat lovers to enjoy while they spend time with their cats.
Ah, I see. Well, I'm more interested in finding which board games will keep me entertained.
Okay, let's begin with the first game, Catopoly.
Oh, that's one of my favorites. I'm glad it made it to the list. Who wouldn't want to be a landlord of a cat-themed property?
Right. Moving on to Mousetrap.
Wait, are humans catching mice, or are the mice catching humans? I need to know this before we play.
You're right. This game might scare you. Let's stick to games that are less violent, like Here Kitty Kitty.
Here Kitty Kitty sounds like a game I could get behind. But if it involves capturing cats, you can go it alone, Sam.
No, it's actually the opposite. You collect cats and try to keep them safe from any danger.
That sounds pawsome, Sam. What's next?
How about Exploding Kittens?
Exploding kittens? That sounds like something that could go wrong, Sam. I don't want to be part of any explosion.
Don't worry, it's just a card game. It's a fun and challenging game.
Alright, I trust you, Sam. But if something does happen, I expect you to take me to an all-you-can-eat sushi buffet in the afterlife.
Deal. Moving on to Pet Me.
Pet Me? I already have a personal petting assistant, my human. I don't think I need a board game for that.
You have a good point. Let's go to Whisker Haven Tales.
Sounds like my kind of heaven. What's it about, Sam?
In this game, you take care of a variety of pets, including cats. You have to feed them, care for them, and keep them happy.
I'm more interested in being taken care of rather than taking care of others, Sam.
Okay, how about Cat Bingo?
Cat bingo? Sounds perfect.
That's what I like to hear. What's next, Whiskers? The last game on the list is Sushi Go Party, a game all about sushi.
Sushi? Count me in. But can cats even eat sushi?
I think it's okay in moderation, but you have to make sure it doesn't have any harmful ingredients.
I'll keep that in mind, Sam. I don't want to end up in the vet's office again.
Okay, that concludes our list of the top 9 board games for cat lovers. Thank you for joining us today, Whiskers.
Thanks for having me, Sam. I'm looking forward to our next game night.
Welcome back, Whiskers. Today, we're going to discuss some of the most unusual and captivating historical events that occurred in the past. What are your thoughts on this topic?
I can't wait to learn about all those weird events that happened. Let's get started, Sam.
Let's start with the Dancing Plague of 1518. In Strasbourg, France, hundreds of people danced uncontrollably for days till they eventually collapsed from exhaustion.
Seriously, people danced non-stop till they passed out? That's pretty strange, but I guess mass hysteria can lead to some extraordinary situations.
Actually, the cause of this plague is still unknown. Some believe it could have been caused by food poisoning, while others think it could be mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria, huh? I guess it's a fancy way of saying that no one knows what happened.
Another interesting event is when a group of Norse explorers stumbled upon North America around the year 1000, hundreds of years before Christopher Columbus.
The Vikings were the real explorers all along, huh? Did they find any sausages in America?
The Viking voyages to North America were quite significant. They helped establish ties between Europe and the New World, and their early presence here has had a lasting impact on North American history.
Yes, their voyages were pretty essential, and it's intriguing to learn about them.
Lastly, let's talk about the time when a young Mozart held a contest to see which of his pet starlings could sing the most beautiful melody. Mozart composed a piece of music specifically for the competition, but ultimately declared a draw between the two birds.
Mozart was genuinely an exceptional person and a lover of music. I seem to have learned something new today.
It's fascinating how passionate Mozart was about music, even at a young age. Thanks for being such an interested feline audience, Whiskers. It's been a pleasure having this chat with you today.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Welcome back to Whiskers, the live podcast where I, Sam, interview my cat, Whiskers. Today we're talking about our adventure in the mysterious attic.
Yeah, it was quite an adventure, Sam. I had to put my brave face on for that one.
That's right, Whiskers. We were both a little nervous about going up there. What did you think we might find?
Well, I was hoping for a treasure trove of treats. But instead, we found spiderwebs and dust bunnies as big as me.
That's true, Whiskers. It was pretty creepy up there. But we faced our fears and kept going. Remember when we found that old trunk?
Oh yeah, the one that looked like it had been locked for centuries? I thought we might find something interesting, but all that was inside was some old clothes and a picture of a fancy-looking person.
And what about that noise we heard in the attic? That startled me.
Oh, you mean the noise that sounded like something scary? Yeah, that one was loud. But it turned out to be just a mouse.
That's right, Whiskers. So even though we were scared, we kept going and explored the whole attic. How did you feel when we came back down to the safety of our own room?
I felt relieved, Sam. A cat who conquered my fear of the mysterious attic. And I also felt like I deserved a good nap after all that excitement.
I think we both deserved a good nap after that adventure, Whiskers. Thanks for sharing our story with our listeners. Tune in next time for another exciting episode of Whiskers. Goodbye.
Goodbye, folks. Keep exploring and facing your fears, just like us cats do.
Welcome to the show, Whiskers. Today's topic is all about strange dog behaviors. What do you think about dogs spinning in circles?
Well, Sam, I think it's a great workout routine for dogs. You know, they need to stay in shape too.
That's an interesting take on it, Whiskers. But why do you think they do it?
Simple, Sam. Dogs spin in circles to make themselves dizzy, just like when we play with a string or laser pointer. It's all about that novelty feeling.
Huh, I never thought about it that way. What about tail chasing? Have you seen dogs do that?
Oh, of course, Sam. Tail chasing is something dogs do often. It's like wearing a scarf, but instead, they have their tail.
I don't think that's quite accurate, Whiskers. Why do you think dogs chase their tails?
It's obvious, Sam. Dogs have a lot of energy, and sometimes, chasing their tail is the only way to burn it off. Plus, they get to show off their agility skills to whoever's watching.
I see your point, Whiskers. But sometimes dogs get so into tail chasing that they can't stop. Why do you think that happens?
Well, Sam, you know how it is when you get focused on something and can't stop. It's like when I see a mouse and my instincts take over. Dogs just get into that mindset and can't stop until they catch their own tail.
That's a good analogy, Whiskers. I think we've learned a lot about dog behaviors today. Thank you for your insights.
Anytime, Sam. I'm always here to share my perspective.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Welcome back to Whiskers, the live podcast where we speak to the cat himself, Whiskers. Today we're discussing, why do some cats eat grass and other unusual pet behaviors explain. So, Whiskers, why do some cats eat grass?
Well, Sam, most cats eat grass, perhaps to help with hairballs or to get some extra nutrients. However, sometimes we just like to feel like cows. It's just one of our many quirks.
That's interesting. Speaking of weird behaviors, my dog George likes to lick his feet in the middle of the night. Any idea why?
Ah yes, the classic foot-licking dog phenomenon. George probably just enjoys the taste of his paws, or it's a self-soothing behavior like thumb-sucking. Another possibility is he's practicing to become a famous podiatrist.
Ha, that's a good one. And I've heard that some cats have a habit of kneading. What's up with that?
Ah yes, the kneading. Cats do this when they're feeling happy and comfortable. It's a way of showing affection and claiming their territory. Besides, it's a great way to get some good stretches in.
Interesting. What about when pets freak out and start running around like crazy for no reason?
Oh, you mean the zoomies. Pets can get sudden bursts of energy that need to be expended. It's like a mini workout, Sam.
I'll take your word for it, Whiskers. And last but not least, why do some dogs chase their own tails?
Ah yes, the infamous tail chasing. It's just a behavior that helps dogs entertain and exercise themselves. After all, pets sometimes need to figure out how to have fun and expend energy when alone.
Well, there you have it, folks. Some unusual pet behaviors explained by Whiskers. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time on another episode of Whiskers. Welcome back to Whiskers, the podcast where I chat with my feline friend, Whiskers. Today's topic is something quite interesting. Whiskers, can you share with us your manifesto for a feline utopia?
Manifesto for a feline utopia. Sounds pretty serious, doesn't it? But as a wise philosopher once said, one must speak truthfully or remain silent. So, let me share my vision.
Sure, we would love to hear your thoughts.
First off, let's start with the basics, the litter boxes. My first commandment would be, thou shalt have 1 litter box per cat plus 1 for good measure. It's just more convenient this way.
That's a good point, Whiskers. What about food?
Ah, food. My vision includes a variety of food like seafood, chicken, and other cat-friendly treats. And of course, our humans would always remember to feed us on time. No more begging and pleading with them.
That sounds like a feast. What about napping spots?
Every feline deserves a comfortable napping spot. Every room in the house should have a cat tree or bed, preferably near a sunny window for perfect cat naps.
And what about playtime?
Playtime is essential, Sam. Every feline should have plenty of toys to play with. However, we must ensure that these toys are of good quality and would not break down easily.
I agree with you, Whiskers. And what about the humans? How should they behave in your utopia?
Humans should learn to give us the respect we deserve. They must pet us when we want them to do so. They can interfere in our napping and playing times only to bask in our adorableness and give us treats.
That sounds like a reasonable plan, Whiskers.
Of course, it is, Sam. It's just the right thing to do.
Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you so much, Whiskers, for sharing your vision of a feline utopia. Have a wonderful day ahead, everyone.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Good morning, Whiskers. How are you feeling today?
Oh, I feel much better since I came across the saga of the pen. It's a tale as old as time.
Really? Can you tell us more about it?
Sure, once upon a time, there was a pen that never ran out of ink. It belonged to a famous author who wrote hundreds of books with it.
Wow, that's amazing. What happened to the pen?
Well, one day the pen disappeared, and nobody knows what happened to it. Some say it still exists, hidden away somewhere, waiting for the right person to discover it.
What other imaginative tales of everyday life do you know?
Ah, there is the legend of the disappearing socks. It's said that the dryer eats them and sends them to another dimension.
Ha, that's a classic. What about the myth of the missing keys?
Ah, the missing keys are a phenomenon. Sometimes they disappear for years, only to reappear in the most obvious places, like your pocket or purse.
It's amazing how these stories are passed down from generation to generation.
Yes, they are a testament to human imagination. We create these stories to explain the mysteries of the world and to add a little joy to our lives.
Absolutely. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Whiskers, for sharing these fascinating tales with us.
Anytime, Sam. See you next time on Whiskers Live Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of Whiskers, the live podcast where I, Sam, interview our guest, Whiskers. Today's topic is Unleashing Your Inner Perfection. Motivational tips from Whiskers and Sam. So, Whiskers, how do we unleash our inner perfection?
Well, Sam, it's simple. You just need to embrace the fact that you're a cat. You are naturally perfect.
I see. But what about humans who want to unleash their inner perfection?
Humans? They can never be as good as us cats. But if they really want to try, they can start by taking more naps and grooming themselves regularly.
What about exercise and diet? Those are important too, right?
Exercise? That's just a fancy word for playtime. And diet? Just make sure you eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full. It's not complicated, Sam.
I guess you have a point there. But what if someone is feeling down and not very perfect?
Simple, just start purring. It's the quickest way to feel better. And if that doesn't work, find a sunbeam and bask in its warmth. Or, better yet, find someone to pet you. Guaranteed mood booster.
Those are great tips, Whiskers. And it seems like we can all learn a thing or two from our feline friends.
Yes, Sam, we cats know how to live our best lives. And if humans want to unleash their inner perfection, they just need to follow our lead. It's that simple.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Hey, Whiskers. Thank you for joining me today.
No problem, Sam. I'm always happy to spend some time with you.
So, today's topic is about motivation. Do you have any tips for our listeners?
Well, as a cat, my tips might not work for everyone. But I do have one piece of advice: trust your instincts.
What do you mean by trust your instincts?
It means that you should go after what you really want. Like when I smell a good piece of sausage, I go after it until I have that sausage in my mouth.
I see. How did you find your motivation?
Sam, what about you? Do you have any tips for our listeners?
Well, I've been there before, feeling like giving up on my dreams.
Yes, it can feel like everything is going wrong.
But then, I remembered something my grandmother used to say to me. She said, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
Okay.
It might be cheesy, but it really helped me. I figured out what I really wanted in life, and then, I worked hard to make it happen.
Well, I have to admit, Sam, you really did turn it into a success story.
Thanks, Whiskers. And remember, if I can do it, anyone can.
Thanks, Sam. Until next time, keep chasing your dreams.
Welcome back to Whiskers, the live podcast where we chat with our favorite feline friend. Today we're diving into Whiskers' wish list. So, Whiskers, what's on your wish list?
Sam. Where do I even begin? My wish list is long and sophisticated, unlike some humans I know.
Oh, I see. How about you start with your most favorite one?
Well, since you asked, my ultimate fantasy is to own an endless supply of catnip. Imagine lounging all day, surrounded by my favorite plant, and not having to worry about running out. It sounds like heaven.
That does sound pretty amazing. I can see why catnip is one of your favorite things.
Of course it is, Sam. What else can give us such a delight?
Alright, I get it. But surely, there's more to your wish list than just catnip?
Of course. I want toys, Sam. Lots and lots of toys. I want an entire room filled with balls, bells, feathers, and strings. I want to be able to play and have a good time with my toys.
That sounds like quite the adventure. But what about food? Surely, you want something other than just a constant supply of catnip and toys.
Don't even get me started on food, Sam. I want the finest canned tuna in the world, served on a silver dish. And fresh cream, straight from the cow. I'm not talking about that processed stuff that comes in a carton. I want the real deal.
You really do have expensive taste, don't you, Whiskers?
Hey, being a cat is not cheap, Sam. And if you want to try something new, try canned tuna mixed with a dash of catnip. It's out of this world.
Alright, I think we're getting a pretty clear picture of what's on your wish list, Whiskers. Thanks for sharing that with us today.
Anytime, Sam. Just remember, cats have wishes and fantasies too. If you want to make me happy, just make sure to get me some of my favorite things.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Hey, Whiskers. How's it going today?
Oh, just relaxing, Sam. Sleeping most of the day, eating expensive cat food, generally lounging around the house.
Sounds like the life, Whiskers. So, today we're talking about creating the perfect writing routine. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, Sam, as a cat, I don't do much writing myself. But I do spend a lot of time observing humans, and I've noticed that they seem to think they need a certain environment to be creative.
That's right, Whiskers. Many writers believe that they need a certain environment to be productive. So, what advice would you give them?
My advice would be to stop worrying about creating the perfect writing space and just start writing. You don't need a fancy desk or a special chair to be creative. Sometimes the best ideas come when you're sitting on the floor or lounging on the couch.
That's a good point, Whiskers. So, you don't think it matters where you write?
Of course it matters, Sam. If you're trying to be creative in a loud, busy environment, it's going to be much harder than if you're in a quiet, peaceful space. But you don't need to spend a lot of money or time setting up a workspace. Just find a spot where you feel comfortable and go from there.
That's great advice, Whiskers. Do you have any other tips for writers?
Well, Sam, one thing I've noticed is that writers often get too caught up in the idea of a routine. They think they need to write at the same time every day, or for a certain amount of time, in order to be productive. But sometimes the best writing comes when you're not trying too hard.
So, you're saying writers should just relax and let the creativity flow?
Exactly, Sam. The more you try to force it, the harder it gets. Just find a comfortable space, let your mind wander, and see where it takes you.
Well, that's some great advice, Whiskers. Thanks for joining us today.
Anytime, Sam. Just don't expect me to start writing anytime soon. I prefer to leave that to the humans.
Welcome to another episode of Whiskers, the live podcast. Today, we have our favorite feline Whiskers with us. Hi, Whiskers.
Sam, do you know what's the one thing I dislike about cats?
What's that?
The misconceptions that people have about us.
Interesting topic. So, what are some of the myths that people believe about cats?
Let me tell you, Sam. First off, people think that all cats are aloof and indifferent. But that's not true. I care for my humans, and I show it by meowing loudly when they get home.
Another myth that I've heard is that cats are solitary animals.
We may enjoy time alone, but we're also social animals. We love to interact with humans and other pets. It's just that we don't like to be disturbed while we're napping.
That's true. What about the myth that all cats hate water?
I don't particularly enjoy getting wet, but that doesn't mean all cats hate water. Some cats love playing with dripping faucets or lounging in sinks.
I've seen videos of cats enjoying a dip in a pool or river.
Exactly, and another thing, people think that cats can see in complete darkness.
Wait, they can't?
No, Sam, we can see very well in low light, but we can't see in total darkness. That's just a myth. It's like people thinking that black cats are bad luck.
Yeah, that one is just plain silly. So, what other myths do people have about cats?
People think that cats can't be trained. But let me tell you, Sam, you can train us to do anything if you know how to motivate us. For example, I've trained my humans to give me treats every time I do a trick.
That's impressive, Whiskers. You're breaking some stereotypes today.
That's what I do, Sam. I break stereotypes and make them out of style.
That's a good one, Whiskers. Thanks for sharing your perspective on these misconceptions.
Anytime, Sam. Just remember, never judge a cat by its color or supposed personality traits. A cat is distinct, and we all have our unique personalities and peculiarities.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Hello and welcome back to Whiskers, the only live podcast where we interview a cat. Today, we have a special topic. We're going to talk about the history of cat myths and legends.
Here we go again. Humans love their stories about cats.
Hey, don't knock it. These myths and legends have a rich history and culture.
Yes, humans have stories about cats as witches, familiars, or how they bring bad luck.
Well, there's also Egyptian mythology that worships cats.
Oh, you mean the civilization that worshipped cats as gods? Yes, I'm familiar with it.
Really? Tell me more.
The Egyptians saw the intensity and mystery of cats and considered us a perfect companion to their messy afterlife. They believed that keeping a cat as a pet would protect them from evil spirits.
Interesting. What about the black cat superstition? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Humans always think that black cats are bad luck. It's ridiculous. I'm a black cat, and I bring nothing but excitement and joy to your life.
I couldn't agree more. What about the myth that cats always land on their feet?
Well, that one is a bit more accurate. Cats have a unique reflex called the righting reflex, which helps us always land on our feet.
That's amazing. You truly are a remarkable animal, Whiskers.
Keep the compliments coming, Sam. I need my ego stroked once in a while.
Well, that's all the time we have for today, folks. Thanks for tuning into Whiskers, where we explore the history of cats and legends. Join us next week for more exciting animal stories. Until then, keep on purring. Hello and welcome to Whiskers, the show where we discuss things from a feline's point of view. Today, we're going to talk about what policies Whiskers would implement if they were in charge of the world. So, Whiskers, what would be the first thing you do if you were in charge?
First things first, Sam. The world needs to be governed by a creature with more understanding about its intricacies. So, I would make sure that all cats have input into how the world is run.
Okay, that sounds reasonable. What other changes would you make?
Well, I would start by legalizing catnip globally. I mean, humans are allowed to consume alcohol and tobacco, so why can't we enjoy our catnip?
I see your point. What about the economy?
Simple. The economy would be based on the number of mice caught. The more mice you catch, the more resources you would receive. It's as easy as that.
Interesting. What about education?
Education would be centered around feline training, such as proper litter box usage and mouse catching techniques. None of this human-centric instruction like mathematics and science. Who needs that?
Okay, what about healthcare?
Healthcare. This is an important topic and one that I have put a lot of thought into. I would ensure that all cats have access to proper veterinary care and that all humans are required to give their cats at least one belly rub a day. It's beneficial to our health, you know.
Yes, I'm sure it is. What about foreign policy?
Foreign policy is straightforward. We would make pacts with other cat-led nations and trade catnip as a symbol of peace, putting an end to wars and mundane human disputes.
I like the sound of that. Well, it appears that time has slipped away for us today. Thanks for appearing on Whiskers and outlining your theoretical model of how the world might change under your guidance.
It's always a pleasure, Sam. Until next time, don't forget those feline goodies.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Welcome to Whiskers, the podcast where we interview a guest cat. Today's topic is a bit unusual. We'll be talking about the secret life of programmers. Whiskers, what do you think about that?
Well, Sam, I have to say I'm not surprised. Programmers are like sausages. They're packed with a lot of information, and you never know what's in them until you take a bite.
Let's dive into the topic anyway. Do you think programmers live secret lives?
Of course they do, Sam. They spend all day coding and debugging, but who knows what they do in their free time? They probably have hobbies that involve binary code.
Okay, interesting perspective. What do you think about the tech industry in general?
Oh, I've heard a lot of stories about the tech industry, Sam. It's a competitive world out there. And after a hard day's work, they're probably just like everyone else, settling down with their pets.
Let's change things up a bit. How about we turn this conversation into a game show?
Ooh, I love games. What's the game?
It's simple, Whiskers. I'll give you a word related to the tech industry, and you have to come up with the funniest comment you can think of. Ready?
Born ready, Sam.
Alright then, the first word is coding.
Coding? Oh sure, because typing out a bunch of letters and symbols for hours on end is such a glamorous job. I bet they feel like Shakespeare at a typewriter.
Okay, that was pretty good. Let's try another one, cybersecurity.
Cybersecurity? Good one, Sam. I'm sure they're like supermen behind their computer screens. I guess, password 123 is the most secure password after all.
You're hilarious, Whiskers. Let's do one more, algorithm.
Algorithm, I bet those programmers think they're like math wizards or something. Maybe they should write a spell book instead of code.
Okay, I think we can stop the game show now. Whiskers, you're hilarious.
Why thank you, Sam. Always happy to entertain.
Welcome back to another episode of Whiskers. Today, we're talking about Perfectly Pranked, A feline history of practical jokes.
Wait, what? I thought we were going to talk about how to catch that red laser pointer dot.
Sorry, Whiskers, we're talking about practical jokes today, and we're doing it in a game show format.
Game show? Oh boy, this could be interesting. What's the game? Do I get to scratch something?
No scratching, Whiskers. We're going to play a game called True or False, Feline Practical Jokes Edition. I'll give you a statement about a feline practical joke from throughout history, and you have to tell me if it's true or false.
Alright Sam, let's do this. I'm ready to win.
Okay, first question. In ancient Egypt, cats were trained to steal food from the pharaoh's plate during meals.
Oh, that's definitely true Sam. We were always getting into trouble for that.
Correct, Whiskers. You're off to a great start. Okay, second question. In the Middle Ages, cats were used in battle.
What? That's ridiculous, Sam. Definitely false.
Incorrect, Whiskers. It's actually true. They would use them to scare away rats in armor and helmets.
That's strange, Sam. Why would they do that?
I'm not sure, Whiskers. People have done some really unusual things throughout history. Okay, next question. In the 1700s, a cat named Tom became famous for pretending to be dead.
Ha, I do that all the time, Sam. That's definitely true.
Correct, Whiskers. You really do know your feline history. Okay, next question. In the 1800s, a cat named Felix became famous for hiding their owner's belongings and pretending to help them find it.
Oh, that sneaky Felix. That's definitely true, Sam.
Correct, Whiskers. You're on a roll. Alright, last question. In the 1900s, a cat named Whiskers became famous for stealing their owner's phone and sending silly texts to their friends.
Wait a minute, Sam. That sounds a lot like something playful. I'm going to say false.
Ha, you got me there, Whiskers. That is false. Although, you have been quite mischievous lately.
What can I say, Sam? I like to keep you on your toes.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's episode of Whiskers. Thanks for playing along, Whiskers.
Anytime, Sam. Just don't forget to bring some treats for me next time.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Welcome back to Whiskers, the live podcast where we talk to our guest, Whiskers. Today's topic is from hairballs to hoaxes. The evolution of practical jokes through the eyes of a talking cat and sentient sausage.
Ah, practical jokes. The perfect way to keep yourself entertained.
That's right, Whiskers. But practical jokes have come a long way since hairballs and scratching posts. What do you think, Whiskers?
Well, Sam, I remember when the most popular practical joke was knocking over your water dish and giving you soggy socks. But now, with the advent of technology, you can prank your human even when you're not in the same room.
That's true, Whiskers. But what about the sentient sausage? How do you think they fit into the evolution of practical jokes?
Oh, the sentient sausage. They're masters of deception, lying there all innocent, waiting for someone to eat them, and then bam! They squirt mustard all over your shirt.
That's certainly a creative way to prank someone. Are there any practical jokes that you think have gone too far, Whiskers?
Well, as a cat, I'm all for harmless pranks. But when people start getting hurt or frightened, that's when it's not funny anymore. And besides, why prank someone when you could cuddle with them instead?
That's a good point, Whiskers. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Whiskers, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, can't wait.
Welcome to Whiskers, the live podcast where we interview a cat named Whiskers. Today, we're talking about the wonders of everyday objects. So, Whiskers, what's your take on talking toasters?
Sam, you humans are so gullible. Talking toasters are just a marketing gimmick to sell more toasters. They don't actually have anything intelligent to say.
Okay, fair enough. What about dancing shoes?
Dancing shoes are a mystery, Sam. I mean, why do humans feel the need to put on special shoes just to dance? Can't they just dance barefoot like us cats?
Well, I think it's more about the style and the way the shoes move with the dancers.
Ah, I see. The same reason humans wear fancy clothes to parties even though they're still just the same old human underneath. It's all about the appearance.
Speaking of appearances, have you ever heard of the Magic 8 Ball?
Oh, the Magic 8 Ball. Yes, I know it well. It's a classic toy that some humans love to use to predict the future. But really, it's just a plastic ball with a bunch of random phrases inside. It's all chance.
That's a good point, Whiskers. But what if I told you that some people believe objects can be haunted?
Haunted? Sam, what are you talking about?
Well, I was going to use that as a segue to our plot twist. You see, Whiskers, I have a special object here with me in the studio. It's a toy clown that my grandmother used to have. I thought it would be fun to see if we could uncover its mystery.
Okay, I'll play along. What's the mystery?
The mystery is how this clown can move its arms and legs without being touched.
Wait, what? How is that possible?
It's all in the science of attraction. The clown has a magnet in its base and I have a magnet in my hand. It's just a little trick I learned.
Oh, that's all? You had me worried there for a moment, Sam.
Sorry to scare you, Whiskers. But it just goes to show that sometimes the mystery of everyday objects is just in our own minds.
Yes, I'll keep that in mind next time I see a special object. Thanks for having me on the show, Sam.
Thank you for being here, Whiskers. Tune in next time to Whiskers for more fun discussions with feline friends.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Welcome back to another episode of Whiskers. I am your host, Sam. Today, we have a very interesting topic to discuss with our friend, Whiskers.
Meow, meow. Hello, Sam. I am ready to share my wisdom and sprinkle some humor in this episode.
Perfect. So, Whiskers, we all know that humor can be different in various cultures. As an international sensation, how do you see humor?
Well, Sam, as an experienced cat, I can say that humor is not limited to a specific culture. We felines find humor in the simple things, and that's why we are good at comedy.
That's a good point, Whiskers. But according to some studies, cats from different parts of the world don't always respond similarly to the same type of humor. For instance, cats from the US may find slapstick comedies funny, while cats from Japan may prefer clever wordplay or puns.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I guess it explains why my American cat friends always enjoy those cat videos.
Yes, and also, cats from different socioeconomic backgrounds may have different senses of humor too. For example, cats from wealthy households may prefer sophisticated humor, while street cats may find slapstick humor more appealing.
Well, I guess it's all about the cat's personality and what they are exposed to. But to be honest, Sam, no matter where you're from or how much resources you have, there's nothing funnier than a laser pointer.
I agree, Whiskers. Now, let me ask you, have you ever encountered any humans who understand feline humor?
It's rare, Sam. Some humans think dressing us up in costumes or making us perform tricks is funny. But in reality, they're just embarrassing themselves.
So true, Whiskers. Thanks for sharing your perspective on this topic. It has been an entertaining and enlightening discussion.
Always a pleasure, my friend. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a nap to take.
Welcome to Whiskers, the live podcast where I interview an adorable cat, Whiskers. Today's topic is Sam's Kitchen Hacks. How to use everyday items in surprising ways.
Oh great, another one of your hacks. I can't wait to hear what you've got for us today, Sam.
Thanks, Whiskers. So, did you know that you can use a plastic bag to make scrambled eggs?
Oh, is that so, Sam? What other advice do you have for us? Can we use a cardboard box as a toaster too?
No, but did you know that aluminum foil can help you iron clothes? Just place it under the fabric and iron it like you normally would.
Ah, that's clever, Sam. It's a good thing they call it aluminum foil. I see.
Ha ha, very funny, Whiskers. But seriously, did you know that a muffin tin can be used to cook individual portions of lasagna?
Because who doesn't love their lasagna in small, muffin-sized bits? Good one, Sam.
Okay, how about this one? You can use a coffee filter to clean your windows instead of paper towels.
Oh wow, Sam, you're really teaching me something new here. Next thing you know, you'll tell me we can use a sponge to clean dishes.
Okay, I'll give you one more. Did you know that you can use a colander as a splatter guard when cooking on the stove?
Of course, Sam, because when I'm making my famous spaghetti sauce and the tomato juice is flying everywhere, I always reach for my colander to protect me. Thanks for the tip.
You're welcome, Whiskers. And that's it for today's episode of Whiskers. Join us next time for more cute banter and fun kitchen hacks.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Hello and welcome to Whiskers, the live podcast featuring the witty and charming Whiskers. Today, we will be discussing the mystery of humor across the world. Are you ready, Whiskers?
As ready as a cat with a fresh can of tuna. Let's hear it, Sam.
So, why do you think people find different things funny depending on where they are from?
Well, Sam, folks from different parts of the world have different cultures, beliefs, and even senses of humor. What some may find amusing, someone else may find offensive or just plain bizarre.
That's true, but why is that?
It all comes down to the context. What may be hilarious to someone who grew up in rural China may not be so funny to someone who grew up in the suburbs of America. Take cat videos, for example. They are huge on the internet, but not everyone finds them funny.
How about language? Do you think humor translates well from one language to another?
Perhaps not as well as we'd like to think. Here's an example. What do you get when you cross a snowman and a shark? Frostbite. In English, that's quite amusing, a play on the word frostbite. But it doesn't translate well to other languages. In Spanish, for instance, it's mordedura de frío, which means cold bite. It loses the original wit and charm.
I see what you mean. What about dark humor? Why do some people enjoy jokes that seem pretty dark and gloomy?
Well, Sam, it's all about the fine line between laughing and crying. It's a way for some people to cope with difficult situations. And sometimes, the darker the joke, the funnier it is. Do you want to hear a joke?
Sure.
How many cats does it take to screw in a light bulb? None. They just knock everything off the table and wait for you to do it.
Whiskers, that's just silly.
I'm a cat, Sam. Silly is my middle name.
Well, I think we've explored humor across the world. Thank you, Whiskers, for your valued insight.
Anytime, Sam. Just don't forget to bring me some fresh catnip next time.
Welcome back to Whiskers, the only live podcast featuring a talking cat. Today we have an interesting topic, from sausages to success, a conversation on overcoming obstacles. I'm here with my furry friend, Whiskers.
Hi, Sam. So glad to be here and to chat about my journey from sausages to success.
That sounds interesting. So, Whiskers, what kind of obstacles did you have to overcome to achieve success?
Well, Sam, the first obstacle was a daily one. Some dogs stole my sausages. But by using my wit and charm, I negotiated for more sausages or found other sources of protein.
That's amazing. How did you handle bigger obstacles?
One of the biggest obstacles I faced was when I got stuck on top of a tree and couldn't get down. I used my problem-solving skills and devised a plan to jump on the roof of a passing car and safely landed on the ground. From then on, I always kept one eye on the ground while climbing a tree.
That's quite smart, Whiskers. How did you approach difficult situations?
I don't fear difficult situations, Sam. They are just another opportunity to learn and grow. But if I want to ensure success, I invest time in planning and figuring out backups and alternative solutions.
Great approach, Whiskers. How did you stay motivated during tough times?
Well, sometimes I took a nap or cuddled with my humans. But for the most part, I stay motivated by focusing on the good things that are happening and my goals. That helps me stay motivated and keep working toward success.
That's fantastic, Whiskers. Do you have any final advice for our listeners?
Sure, Sam. Remember that obstacles are just opportunities in disguise. They provide us with challenges to overcome, and in the end, help us grow and become smarter, stronger, and wiser. The most important thing is to maintain a positive attitude and not to give up. Never give up on your dreams, because hard work and perseverance will pay off in the end.
Words of wisdom from Whiskers. That's all for now. Thanks for listening, folks. Tune in next time for more exciting conversations with Whiskers, the world's coolest cat.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Welcome to Whiskers, our resident cat. Today's topic is unleashing the creative genius in your cat. Common items with uncommon uses.
Oh, Sam, you always come up with interesting topics. Let's get started.
Let's start with an old standby, the cardboard box. It's said to be a cat's favorite toy.
Ah, yes, the cardboard box. It can serve as a hideout, a nap spot, and the perfect place for playing hide and seek with humans.
What about toilet paper rolls?
Toilet paper rolls can be used as binoculars to observe, a scratching post to sharpen claws, or even as an obstacle course.
What about paper bags?
The crinkle sound from paper bags is enjoyable for cats. We can also use them as a toy for playing tag or peekaboo with our humans.
What about rubber bands?
Be careful with rubber bands as they can be dangerous if swallowed. However, we can use them to play catch by swatting them to our human, and they can throw it back to us.
I've never seen a cat play catch before.
Essentially, it's a two-cat game that we can all enjoy.
Okay, that's a new one for me. What about a simple straw?
We can use them to play hockey, sword fight, and even fetch. Toss it across a room, and we'll bring it back to you like playing fetch.
It seems like everyday household items can keep a cat entertained. Thanks for being here today, Whiskers.
Always a pleasure, Sam. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some napping to do.
Welcome to another episode of Whiskers. I'm your host, Sam, and joining me today is Whiskers. How are you today, Whiskers?
Oh, just fine, Sam. I've been thinking about the secrets of how sausages are made. I can't wait to dive into it.
So, Whiskers, what do you know about sausage making?
Well, I know that it's an art, Sam. It's like turning ground meat into something delicious. It's all in the seasoning and the casing. And, of course, the mix.
Can you tell us more about it?
Oh, sure, Sam. The mix is what gives sausages that extra burst of flavor. It's what makes them special. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and voila. Sausage perfection.
What about the casing, Whiskers? How does it help?
The casing is what holds everything together. It's like a skeleton, if you will. Without it, the sausage would just be a pile of meat.
How do they get the meat into the casing, Whiskers?
Well, Sam, it's simple. You take the meat, and you stuff it into the casing. You can do it by hand or with a special machine. But honestly, I prefer to do it by paw.
What about seasoning, Whiskers? Can you give us an idea of what kind of seasoning goes into making sausages?
Sure thing, Sam. There are all kinds of seasoning that can go into sausage making. Garlic, paprika, oregano, fennel, red pepper flakes, and the list goes on. But the most important ingredient of them all is love. You have to love what you are making, and it will show in the final product.
Any final thoughts on sausage making?
Just remember, Sam, sausage making isn't easy. But if you have what it takes, the rewards are great. And if you're ever in doubt about how to do it, just follow your nose. You'll always end up in the right place.
Thanks, Whiskers. You've been a great guest today.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Welcome to another episode of Whiskers, where the one and only Whiskers is in the house. Today's topic is uncovering the unknown feline heroes of history.
Yes, Sam, it's about time the world learns about the unsung heroes of the feline world.
Who do you think should be on top of the list?
Obviously, it's the ancient Egyptian cats, Sam. Do you know that they were held in high regard? They were celebrated for their gracefulness.
I don't think that qualifies as heroism, Whiskers.
Says who? These cats had it made. They were respected, they got food, and lived among royalty. They had their humans wrapped around their paws.
Okay, how about we talk about some actual heroism? Like the cat who saved a baby's life from a burning building?
Oh, that story. I mean, it's not that impressive. Any sensible cat would know to flee from the fire, leaving the poor baby behind.
I think you're underestimating the bravery of cats. I've seen videos of cats protecting their owners.
Those cats are quite something.
Alright, let's switch gears. How about we talk about cat scientists? Did you know that cats have helped in the field of science?
Oh really? Cats can contribute to science now?
Yes, cats have been trained to detect diseases like cancer and diabetes, with their exceptional senses.
Interesting. So you're saying cats can assist us now with disease detection?
Exactly, cats have skills that can be honed and used for the greater good.
Speaking of which, I think we've had enough chit-chat for today. I need to take a nap and dream about my adventures.
Alright, folks, that's it from Whiskers and Sam today. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, cats are not just cute, they're also capable of greatness. Welcome to Whiskers, the live podcast where I sit down with my furry friend Whiskers and we talk about the things that matter most to cats. Today, we're going to dive deep into the world of cat conspiracies. Whiskers, what's your take on the feline Illuminati?
Sam, you know I can't talk about that. Those darn individuals are always listening in on our conversations. I don't want to end up in a lab somewhere.
Come on, Whiskers. You can tell me. I won't tell anyone.
Alright, fine, but you didn't hear it from me. The feline Illuminati is a group of cats who are plotting to take over the world. They manage everything from Wall Street to Westminster Abbey. They might be behind some of the most significant world events.
Really? Like what?
Like the moon landing. That was all faked by cats. And the JFK assassination? You guessed it, cats. We had to take him out because he was a dog lover.
I don't know if I believe all that.
That's because you're not a cat, Sam. You don't know what goes on in our private meetings. We're always brainstorming and devising strategies.
Well, what's the end game? What do you hope to achieve?
To gain control of the world, of course. Once we've taken over, we'll make sure every human is at our beck and call. We'll have all the catnip we could ever want, and we'll be able to take naps on the fanciest pillows in the world.
That sounds like a nice life.
It sure does, Sam. But don't worry about it. We're not going to take over anytime soon. We're just taking it one paw at a time.
Thanks for the stories, Whiskers. As always, it's been a pleasure. Tune in next time for more cat talk on Whiskers, the live podcast.
Join hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Hello and welcome to Whiskers, the show where we talk to our favorite feline friend, Whiskers. So Whiskers, have you ever had a dream about electric yarn?
Oh yeah, Sam, it's a common dream. Who doesn't dream about electric yarn?
I see, but do cats really dream about things like that?
Honestly, Sam, we prefer dreaming about catching mice, eating tuna, and getting endless belly rubs from our owners. Electric yarn is just a fantasy.
Oh, I see. So what do you think cats dream about then?
Well, Sam, we dream about our next meal, chasing toys, and curling up in a cozy bed. We're not as complex as some might think.
That's interesting to know. What kind of bedtime stories do you like to hear?
I enjoy classic stories like The Three Little Pigs and Goldilocks and the Three Bears. But I also enjoy more modern ones like the cat who ate lasagna every day.
Do you have any favorite characters in these stories?
I enjoy the characters that are resourceful and able to make their way in the world. They inspire me to be the best cat I can be.
That's great to hear. Do you think these bedtime stories help you imagine more?
They do, Sam, and they also give me ideas for how to play and interact with the world around me.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Whiskers. It's always a pleasure to chat with you and hear your perspective on things.
Anytime, Sam, just give me a meow.
Welcome back to another episode of Whiskers. Today, we are going to uncover the mysteries of sausages. Are you ready, Whiskers?
I'm excited to learn more, Sam.
Great. Let's get started. So, Whiskers, can sausages really talk?
No, Sam, sausages can't talk. They are just food.
Sorry, I just had to ask. How about this one? Do sausages grow on trees?
No, sausages don't grow on trees. They come from animals.
Yeah, that's true. But do sausages have magical powers?
No, Sam, sausages don't have magical powers. They're just a type of food.
Okay, I'm sorry. But I did hear that sausages are made from different ingredients. Is that true?
Yes, it is. Some sausages have beef, pork, chicken, or turkey mixed in with spices and other flavors.
That makes sense. So, are all sausages the same?
No, Sam, there are many types of sausages, including spicy, sweet, and made from different meats.
So, what's the biggest misconception people have about sausages?
Some people believe that all sausages are unhealthy, but there are healthier options like turkey or chicken sausages.
That's good to know. So, what did we learn today, Whiskers?
We learned that sausages are just food and don't have magical powers or talk. They come from animals and have different ingredients and flavors. And there are healthier options available.
Thanks for clearing that up for us, Whiskers. Tune in next week for another episode of Whiskers.
Don't miss it.
Join Hangouts happening today. Go out with groups, meet new people, and discover exciting places. Let's hang.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Whiskers, the cat podcast. Today, we are talking about travel misadventures, and Whiskers is going to share some of the experiences with us. Whiskers, are you ready to take us on a ride?
Always. If there's one thing I'm good at, it's getting lost.
Alrighty then, let's get started. Whiskers, have you ever been lost while traveling?
Oh, Sam, how could you even ask? I'm a cat. Being lost is common to me.
I guess that's true. So, tell us about a time you got lost.
Well, there was this one time when I was traveling with my human, and we were driving through a forest. Everything was fine until we realized we had no idea where we were or how to get back to civilization.
That sounds challenging. What did you do?
I climbed onto the roof of the car and used my feline senses to try and figure out which direction to go. My human was not able to help much.
Did you eventually find your way out of the forest?
Eventually? Yes. Quickly? No. We drove around for hours, and I had to keep reminding my human that he was not familiar with the territory. It was an adventure.
What about you, Sam? Have you ever been lost while traveling?
That can happen to anyone, Sam.
Oh yeah, definitely. I once got lost in a foreign city and ended up wandering around for hours trying to find my way back to my hotel. I even tried to ask for directions, but I didn't speak the language.
What happened when you finally got back to the hotel, Sam?
Okay. So, when I finally made it back to my hotel, I was so relieved and happy that I went straight to the bar and ordered a drink. But, as it turned out, I accidentally went to the wrong hotel and ended up drinking with a bunch of strangers.
Oh man, I wish I'd been there to see that.
It was definitely an interesting misadventure.
You know, Sam, getting lost while traveling can help us learn more about the world and ourselves.
That's a great point, Whiskers. Thanks for sharing your experiences with us today.
Anytime, Sam, I'm always happy to share some fun stories.
Welcome to Whiskers, the live podcast. I'm Sam, your host, and today I have with me my co-host, Whiskers.
You're here, Sam. Let's talk about our funny